I'm just gonna set this aside. Just a little quick read. I just wanted to read this before, you know. Anyway, these are the, what is it? Alterna logs. Okay, so as technology advance, short pace to the prosperity, and ultimately conflict before only the internals and soon the surface of the earth became a brown wasteland completely insusceptible to life. Oh, okay. There, against the odds computed to be 42,791 to 1, some humans survived. Therefore, the planet was only nearly completely inhospitable to life. The survivors found shelter in a vast cavern created by a cataclysmic volcanic eruption. Lucky. The cavern provided shelter, and a massive pool of accumulated seawater provided life. For a while humanity was being decimated, marine life flourished. All manner of squids, octopuses, and jellyfish had propagated in the deep. The surviving humans had found a source of substance. So all they did was eat squid all day. I don't know. That get tiresome really quickly. The surviving humans appointed scientists to lead their new society, believing that science would provide a wiser path forward. Fully empowered, these scientists took on a monumental task of establishing a sustainable ecosystem within the canon. They dubbed this new society Alterna and began the process of recreating the Earth they had once known. Of course, not even scientists are immune to nostalgia. The humans began constructing large-scale 3D printing operations. This allowed them to recreate some of humanity's favorite artifacts within the confines of Alterna. Additionally, they created a robust information management system designed to indelibly record all of humanity's precious knowledge. Such a system would naturally require some sort of record keeper, a computer that could autonomously observe and record data. The scientists achieved their aim with the development of Orca, also known as the omniscient recording computer of Alterna. Yeah, that bitch kept splatting me every time I ran out of time. As a life in Alterna moved forward, and scientists discovered a new way to make liquid crystals from the bodily fluids of squids. These new crystals could change color in response to faint and fleeting electrical signals emitted by living organisms. They put that in more human terms, these crystals could read minds and then output imagery that matched the viewer's innermost thought. Humans were enchanted with this new invention and began mass producing these crystals. Eventually, they lined the walls and roof of Alterna as the crystals absorbed the collective desire of those in Alterna. They assumed the appearance of the sky as it seen on the surface long ago. At last, after 25 years of being confined beneath the earth, humanity could once again look upon and see the sky. Wait, is that how they invented the squid ink or something? You know, I figured these were holograms. I didn't think they were liquid crystals. Where was I? This one. A year passed with prosperity. The population of Alterna grew like a rising tide. The scientists, now the elders of their kind, believed that they had done all they could to advance civilization in Alterna. They began selecting new leaders to succeed them, entrusting to them the world they helped build. Humanity's new leaders inherited both the brilliance of the predecessors and their unquenchable thirst for innovation. This new generation, born and raised in deep Alterna, would prove to be every bit the match of those they were to succeed. They soon grew restless at the sight of the liquid crystal's sky, believing they deserved to behold the reality that existed outside the cavern. The elders who knew what awaited outside the safe haven of Alterna issued stern warnings to the brash young scientist. Nevertheless, the young scientists pressed on with their plans. The construction of a massive rocket ship to escape Alterna. Sadly, as the boosters were ignited for the first time during a launch test, tragedy struck. The energy from the rocket boosters overloaded the cavern's liquid crystals. A violent and terrible chain reaction ensued. Without warning, the stone walls of the cavern began to shatter, raining debris down upon humanity. Alterna, the last civilization of once prosperous humanity, was no more, and those few who escaped the carnage would soon follow it into death. As the inner walls of Alterna collapsed, dozens of tons of rock and liquid crystals plunged into the water below. As these crystals washed to and fro among flotsam and jetsam of humanity's former colony, they broke into microscopic fragments. Because they had repeatedly absorbed and reflected humanity's wishes over so many years, the crystals retained those feelings. Little by little, the squids, octopuses, and assorted sea creatures that thrived in the water of Alterna absorbed these crystals into their bodies. This process continued until one day the marine organisms began to feel something fresh. These fresh impulses bore a striking resemblance to humanity's passive desire to return to the Earth's surface. Spurred by these impulses, whatever else may have been floating in the polluted waters, the sea creatures began to evolve rapidly. Each species developing pulmonary respiration, mobility, and traits consistent with land-dwelling they began to adapt. Their intelligence grew at a remarkable pace across generations. Some species even gained extraordinary camouflage capabilities. A point of no return arrived. The sea creatures of Alterna set foot on dry land and never looked back. Like humans, they strove for the surface. Of course, survival on land was harsh, but the creatures were persistent. Soon they found the tunnels that humans had used to escape the apocalypse. With their path forward now clear, these fresh fledglings beings left the ruins of Alterna behind and set their sights on the surface of the world. Huh. The beings that had emerged from the water soon emerged from the caverns of Alterna itself. From there they flourished quickly. It wasn't long before they had explored every corner of the world. This apocal event gave great significance to the crater above Alterna, and its surrounding territories, now referred to as the Splatlands. The region would, from that point on, be known as the land of fresh beginnings. Among the creatures that now strive on the surface, these newly evolved beings, having scattered themselves across the globe, soon gave rise to distinct cultures and unique ways of life. Out of all the species now roaming the earth, squids and octopuses soon distinguished themselves via intelligence and fresh vibes, so to speak. It wasn't long before they became the apex species of the planet. Okay. Now I must fast forward a bit. 5,000 years later, a peculiar individual was born. This squid quickly rose to fame in the Splatlands due to some unique characteristics. Yes, this individual was embraced as a prophet, gifted with numerous revelations that they shared among their fellow squids. It was another turning point for squid kind. During this period, the foundation for modern cephalopod civilization was laid. That individual squid is now widely known and celebrated as the progenitor of modern-day inklings. Final log. Recall for a moment the first apocalypse that devastated the human race. Those who escaped into the caverns of Alterna were not the sole survivors. There were others who escaped via giant rocket ships. The Ark Polaris, launched in the nick of time, this ship was laden with many of Earth's species that had been placed in cold sleep. The mission was simple: find another planet to replace the Earth. Considering the circumstances of its launch, the Polaris had a smooth voyage until it reached the edge of the solar system. It was at that point that debris struck the vessel, damaging its navigation system. The crew was able to turn the ship around and head back towards Earth, but the effort was in vain. There was not enough fuel to attempt a landing. The Ark Polaris drifted aimlessly for 10,000 years. Eons passed. The once stable orbit of the Polaris decayed over time until the ship found itself in the inescapable pull of the Earth's gravity. Re-entry was not kind to its inhabitants. All perished save for one. Bear number 3, an experimental subject who had retained consciousness with his cold hibernation, survived. For 12,000 years he had dreamed and plotted. Fully awake, Bear number 3 came to a terrible realization. He had not landed on a new planet at all. He was back on Earth, and yet it was not Earth he knew. This Earth, it seemed, was dominated by sea creatures, not a single mammal to be found. In the course of his search for even a single fellow mammal, Bear number 3 used navigational equipment from the wreckage of the Ark Polaris to discover Alterna. It was a wasteland, of course, but a few of the liquid crystals that had once covered the walls and ceiling remained. With knowledge built during the thousands of years of dreaming, he repaired some of Alterna's facilities and began researching the crystals. Okay. Was he hooked up to a VR machine while he slept? Or was he running simulations in his brain for 10,000 years? Okay. This research bore fruit when Bear number 3 compounded some of the liquid crystals with his own fur. The experiment created an entirely new substance with one terrifying property. It could transform any living creature into mammal. Bear number 3 realized the implications. Oh, hey! Really? Okay, where was I? This research bore fruit when Bear number 3 compounded some of the liquid crystals and could transform the fish in the mouth. Okay, Bear number 3 realized the implications immediately. He could restore the planet to a mammalian paradise. He began stockpiling Boop. What? Okay, yes. You wanna I'll do this later.